Hello everyone, welcome to the Aseem Chhabra Show. My name is Aseem Chhabra. I'm a freelance journalist in New York City, an entertainment writer, and a member of the South Asian Journalists Association at the board. In this show, we will have conversations with filmmakers, writers, journalists, actors about their work. Today we have a very special guest, Parvez Sharma. Parvez is a former print and a television journalist, and now Parvez has made a documentary, his first film called A Jihad for Love, which opened in the US earlier this year after having traveled to more than 30 film festivals and has traveled to several university campuses, has won numerous awards also. Parvez, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Aseem, for having me.
You're welcome. So let's just start off with the basic idea of the film itself. Why was this your first project, and what triggered this idea that you should make a film about an issue about homosexuality in Islam?
You know, why this was my first project is a question I ask myself a lot these days, because certainly it was a very challenging project to take on. And I had freshly arrived in the States around the time September 11th happened, and there was this need to come out as a Muslim. There was a need to take back the discussion of Islam. I was already an out gay man, and I felt that it would be good timing to actually try and tell the stories of gay and lesbian Muslims. I did not, however, at that time foresee the immensity of the task and the depth of the dilemma that I was going to cover and try to film over the next many years in 12 countries.
I should have actually mentioned earlier that the film was very well received by the press. The Wall Street Journal, for instance, mentioned Bret Stephens referred to the film as a revealing and moving documentary notable for its depiction of the tenacity with which its subjects hold on to their faith despite the wall of bigotry, often homicidal, that confronts them. Can you tell us about the objective in making this film, and how did this film evolve over a period of time?
Well, I definitely felt singled out as a Muslim around 9/11, and but there was also a tremendous amount of anger at the extremist voices that had started speaking for Islam, and certainly how they were the only voices representing Islam in the Western media. So there was a political context to the work I was doing, but more fundamentally, on a personal level, was this dilemma of the individual. One of the newspapers in England would write about the film later and say, "Can your faith really kill you?" And I felt that was profound. That is what was interesting to me, because I was going to people and saying and asking them why they were committed to this religion that condemned their sexuality, that condemned their very way of being, And initially, I must say, as I said before, that I did not foresee the extent of trauma in people's lives. I did not foresee the extent of spiritual violence that people had to endure. And I did not foresee the consequences that many of these individuals had and would continue to have because of their sexuality. So when I filmed, finally, I filmed with these Iranian refugees, for example, in Turkey. I was made aware of the tremendous pain of leaving your homeland, leaving your family because of your sexuality. People's lives had been threatened. I was made aware of the extent to which, what you can call spiritual violence can really impact people's lives. And then fundamentally, I met people. You have behind Mariam in the film, for example, who, this Egyptian-Moroccan couple, lesbians, both of them, who are never really going to be able to figure out the answer to this question about whether Islam and homosexuality are compatible or not.
And yes, and also there's also a segment in the film with a lesbian couple in Turkey who are very comfortable with their sexuality, perhaps because Turkey is a secular state, or so-called secular state, so there's more openness there. In fact, there's a beautiful scene where they visit one of the mothers, and can you tell us about that scene?
Well, the Turkish lesbian couple are very important in the film, both Ferda and Kimet, because they have this certain sense of comfort around their sexuality, which many of the other subjects in the film do not have. and they do represent, you know, this particular sort of dynamic of being Turkish in a country that is supposedly secular, as much as that has been tested recently, and have, you know, these freedoms to express their sexuality even in a family situation. So that's why I filmed with them. I thought they were really remarkable women, and just last year when I took the film to Istanbul, to a mainstream, to the biggest film festival in Turkey, and more than 1,500 people showed up to see the film, and it was really amazing to see these two women stand up in front of an audience and engage in a dialogue around homosexuality with this audience in Istanbul, which I must say the other women in the film would be completely incapable of having in a public setting. So, you know, for me it was really important to try and also tell the stories of women, and it's ironic that probably the happiest story in the film ends up being this couple in Turkey, even more than the gay imam in South Africa, Mohsen, whose story, as much as it's hopeful, is also tragic.
Yeah.